Good morning, everybody. This is Anna Sothen with RVA Connected, and I am to say that I'm super excited to bring you this next guest is probably the understatement of the year. Brandy Hollaway and I have known each other for years, and we finally met like 6 years ago, 7 years ago in person after I moved away from Virginia Beach, which is super interesting. But she is an amazing human being, an amazing entrepreneur, mom, all the things. And one of the people that I have always admired and looked up to. So to have her on my podcast is a huge honor. So thank you, Brandy, for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are, I would say you're a serial entrepreneur. I've known you forever, but you are like the idea queen and very the other really good thing is I have a ton of ideas, but the implementation is my hard part. So you are really good at ideas and implementing and then finding people to support the things that you're like what I like to call your zone of genius. So tell people who you are and what you do.
Well, as you said, I'm Brandy Hollaway, and it's Hollaway. I always tell everyone
Right.
if they go look for me, it's not Hollow. And yeah, so I actually have a couple of businesses and brands. I just launched a new brand. So really, the umbrella company is the Phoenix Factor, and it always will be because that's what started it all. But we're also doing that's the marketing agency and consulting for businesses. We also have Ditch Your Overwhelm, which is where we kind of go in and create the system to help you ditch your overwhelm as an entrepreneur. We also have, which we're very excited about, East Coast Life Concierge. So not only for companies and businesses that really want to truly implement a wellness program or self-care for their staff, but it's also going to be offering it in home. And then, as you can see from this beautiful gray, I launched the Greatness Collective, and that was really just a personal, passionate project I'm doing with Andrea Gaines, that we wanted to do to start empowering women because we both hit our 50s and we were like, what the hell is going on? Right.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
have those conversations. So
Yeah. She's
all of
another great
things.
hair beauty. Yes. And I say that after I colored my hair yesterday because I can't like I just have like the little pieces where it's not enough. And I've asked my daughter who's a cosmetologist, I'm like, can you just color my hair gray? And she's like, Mommy, you're gonna do the exact opposite. You're gonna be like chasing your gray versus chasing your brown now. So but eventually one day, like you guys have beautiful gray hair, which is fantastic. So let's talk a little bit because you've been helping me immensely with building my brand for the past oh gosh, I don't even know how long we've been working together when it's been at least a year, maybe. It
So
feels like it's been a lot longer though.
we started working together, and then I think, fully like in launch mode, it's probably been since October, November. So
Okay. 6
7, 8 months. Yeah.
months. Yeah, 7, 8 months. I can't
We're
do
in
math.
May.
Math is not. Yeah, I know. That's it. Don't remind me because May is insane. I'm having a little bit of anxiety over. There's a lot of things happening in May, but let's talk a little bit about how you help me and how you can help other individuals because I think this is super important. We were just having a short chat right before this call. I became a business owner, right? People become business owners because they have a huge passion for fitness or health or branding or chiropractic or whatever. I mean, you just apply whatever it is.
Mhm.
You want to start your own business because you don't want to be controlled by somebody else. You want to be your own boss. And then you become the boss. And then you realize, oh crap, there's all these things I have to do. I have to be the boss. I have to take care of my clients, which is first and foremost, it should be your top priority is to take care of your clients. Because if you can't provide a good service, then you're not going to have a business, right?
Right.
Yeah. So then we also become the bookkeeper, the accountant, the social media manager, the HR consultant, all of these things. And I like to call that not staying in your zone of genius. And so you help businesses stay in their zone of genius. And we've talked a lot about marketing and branding. So share a little bit about what it is that you do and how you support a small business owner.
Yeah. So, I'm always very transparent about this. I don't personally do all the things, but as you said, what I'm really, really good at is connecting,
Correct.
collaboration, and finding the right person, the right
Right.
fit, not even just the right person. So through my own experience, realizing and finding out all those things. And like I mentioned before, you're wearing one hat when you're focused on your passion. You're just super
Correct.
passionate. When you become a business owner, like I said, maybe you're wearing 100 hats, and the goal really needs to be to shed those hats as quickly as possible. And two of the things that I find working with everyone, so someone like you're also multi-passionate. You're a connector. You're great at networking. They call you the human Rolodex. I knew all those things about you. So I was like, okay, she's going to come with like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you can do all those things. You just can't do them at one time. And you definitely shouldn't. And really, you can't do it alone.
Right.
And that's not to say that you can't have your own company as a solopreneur, but you need to be able to delegate and outsource all of these things. And then there's the things that just make life easier. So for you, specifically, when we started talking, I was like, on it, you've got a lot of these things going on. Let's bring them in, like hone them in into the kind of a funnel so that people really understand what you're doing as a person and make you the brand, because
Right.
you were really highlighting all these other things but yourself. And so, we helped you with the podcast.
Yep.
And we have an incredible system for that. So we get the videos, we edit, we create the clips, we get them up on YouTube, on the podcast channels. I will say, of all the things we've been doing, that's something that I think I've enjoyed the most is the
Awesome.
podcasting. And I love listening to podcasts, but your social media as well was like really branding it, but not coming off. I mean, you're so authentic. You're all about being original and authentic. And I think it comes off that way. It's you.
Right.
Some people try to really go in and copy other people with their social right now and see what's trending. And I don't think people want to see that. They want to see you as a person so they know what they're getting. And then just the systems on the back end. We have automations that we set up. So right now, everyone's manually going and checking an email and answering, and they're manually checking in their messenger and their Instagram messages and TikTok and LinkedIn and, all of the things. So we've set up systems for you that go into your system. There's an automation set up. It's still your voice. You actually
Right.
wrote the messages, but now you don't have, you have all these hours that you would be checking those messages. You don't have to worry about that. So, and there's a lot more to it, but essentially we work on, with everyone, including you, how to attract, how to nurture once you've attracted, and then what's the best way to convert this client.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's not, you said full transparency. You're not the only one who's doing it, but that's no different than me, right? Like I have this business. I'm not the one who's doing all the things because I do not physically have time. There's only 24 hours in the day, right? That is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're young, you're old, whatever. There's only 24 hours. You can't make more time. And so as a business owner, if I were to spend 5 hours creating video content, like what you and I do in like, 2 to 3 hours, we create 30 to 60 days worth of content.
Mm-hmm.
That would take me 8 months to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
One,
content creation sessions.
yeah, the content creation. Like that's amazing. Like you know how to do and streamline it because you're so proficient at it that you can take all that content and then create 60 days worth of content. And it'll take you a couple hours to do it. It would take me months, 8 months to sit down and do that. And then I have to figure it out. And then I have to figure out, okay, the algorithms have changed. So now I can't do this. I have to do that. I don't want to know all those things. That's not my zone of genius. So hiring people, like you said, even if you're hiring people, you've curated these individuals who can come in and take some of the things off of your plate because they can do it faster and more efficiently than if you were to do it. It's not that you can't do it or that you have no desire to do it. You just have somebody who can do it faster for you.
And radical honesty, some of it is I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. I know it needs to be done. I understand it. And some of it I don't want to do because I don't enjoy it. And I'm happy and blessed to be in that place now. When I started out, I went through all the mistakes, and that was really my passion for doing this, is like, look, you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. But the thing is that the more you surround yourself with people that know how to help you get over those hurdles, through the obstacles, all of those things, the better. And the reason I said full transparency is because so many people out there are acting like when you see that get 90 clients in 90 days,
right?
They don't care about the quality of the client you're getting or the lead that you're getting. They just have a system where they go out and they get those 90 people, and at the end of the day, or get 10,000 followers. Okay, but are those 10,000 followers interested in what you do, and are they going to buy from you? So it's all those kind of things. So I really try to stay on point with that I don't sugarcoat anymore. I'm not going to BS you. This is going to take time. When you go into this and you start any of these things, you need to give it 6 months. If you think something's going to happen in a month or 90 days, you're going to be really disappointed.
Right. Yeah. So setting clear expectations, I think, is immense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just because you're right. Like you go onto TikTok, you go onto Facebook, whatever the things, and it's you get 90. It's no different than, hey, start using this product and you'll lose 20 pounds in 30 days. It's the same concept, right? As a society, we are that quick fix. We want it done yesterday, not today, not even tomorrow. Yesterday would be better. But when it comes to branding and truly marketing your business, that takes time. And it takes like whatever time you think it should take, multiply it by 10.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like what is the whole brand? Like tell your take, because obviously I have a very personal opinion about branding, but tell us about branding. Like what does that look like for a business owner?
I think really at the end of the day, I go back, I love the actual, there's a saying or a cliche or whatever, but when everybody says your brand is what people are saying about you when you're not in a room, your brand is your story, your brand is being able, the minute I start scrolling on social media and I see a certain look, an aesthetic, I see colors, people think it's their logo and just their colors. It's not. That's really the brand. The brand needs to be able to speak for you, speak for the
Mhm.
company, speak for the business, speak volumes. We see the Nike swoosh. I mean, we know what that's all about, and it
Right.
represents a community. People want to be involved. This is why people will not pay their, you know, car payment. They'll go spend $500 on a pair of shoes, whatever. It's
Right.
like when you
Yep.
really think about that. So for the brand itself, and I think why it's important, the biggest thing with branding is also that you're setting yourself apart,
Correct.
right? Not so much worrying about the competition itself, but if you're a gym owner and there's 5 other gym owners on the same street as you, your brand needs to speak volumes about who you are, what you do, what you stand for, what your vision is, what your mission is, all of those things, including the aesthetics of what they're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And using other people's branding is actually pretty genius, right? So like the whole Nike, Under Armour, now I'm trying to think of like all of the athletic
Adidas.
Adidas, thank you.
Yeah.
Like all of them, like all of that type of branding helps the other brand. It's just going to it's a natural progression, right? So
Mhm.
but having choices is what your clients want. But like you said, making sure that your message is refined so that no matter if you're in the room or not in the room, if somebody says, hey, do you know Anna, what does she do, and people can immediately say, oh, she's a connector. If you want to network, you need to connect with Anna because she knows everybody, right? That's taken me 2 years to curate.
Mhm.
2 years.
Yeah.
That didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
2 years. And it's taking, like when I walk into a room, people are like, oh my God, how do you do all the things that you do? You're everywhere. Right. But that has taken time. It is not something that happened overnight. And as a business owner, again, I shared this with somebody that I was having a conversation with last night. We spend a lot of money curating that brand, making sure that people understand that message, and hoping and praying that our next client is hearing it. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Unfortunately, they may or may not hear it. Right. I talk about like radio commercials. I don't know about you, Brandy, but when you're in the car, do you listen to a radio commercial
You know
or do
what?
you flip the channel?
I actually just did a video about this. The ones I pay attention to, the ones that have jingles, the ones that have certain keywords that I hear over and over and over. So, the little lawyer commercials, or the like
Mm-hmm.
KRIS Weaver
Yep.
Weaver.com. I mean, all of those, like, so once again, you got to have a shtick, as I say.
Yep.
If you want people to remember you, those are the ones I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. And I used to not listen to them because I wanted to listen to music. So I would just flip through. Now it's my research, right? So I'm like, oh,
Right.
if they're advertising, then this is somebody who's looking to grow and to build their business, right? And expand. So it takes time because your client may or may not be sitting in their car at the moment that that radio commercial happens.
Mhm.
They may not even be listening to that channel. They may not even have their freaking radio on. So there's it. And we're going to talk a little bit about this. And I want you to share a little bit. It's not just one modality, right? So a lot of business
I was
owners,
thinking that. Yeah.
they go in there and they're like, oh, I'm only going to do Facebook. I'm
Hmm.
only going to do this.
Hmm.
Or I'm going to do Facebook and I'm going to do it for 6 months. Oh, that didn't work. So I'm going to stop doing Facebook and now I'm going to start doing LinkedIn. Or I'm going to stop doing that and now I'm going to start doing radio commercials and I'm going to stop doing that. And so what happens, right? When you stop, that's when the train is actually starting to like create momentum, right? And people are starting to recognize, oh, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. Where did I hear that before? And then all of a sudden you stop and then you're going off to this other modality, which somebody may or may not be on that platform. And you've completely lost all of this marketing that you did. And so for me, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I know it sucks. You're spending a lot of money, but it's the layering. It's the this and then this and then this and then this. So tell us a little bit about that.
And I'm gonna say, two things. One, a lot of people always say, I don't have the money for that, right? And we talked
Hmm.
about not wearing the hats, and we talked about other things. So for the person that's, coming in as a brand new business owner, they're bootstrapping or funding, self-funding or whatever. There are tools out there that are definitely affordable. And the reason I like to say that's because, as you know, my story, I mean, I went from broke. I lost everything, which, geared me towards doing all of these things. So back in the day, I taught a lot of that, but you should have the funding. And as far as the modalities, the thing you have to understand is, like you were saying, I believe in being omnipresent. So it depends on what you do. But even if you say you're all in on Facebook, you have Facebook posting, you have Facebook stories, you have Facebook ads, you have Facebook Messenger. There's Facebook groups. I mean, there's still just in Facebook. Then you hop over to Instagram. It's not just posting. And at the end of the day, social media cannot be your strategy to succeed, right? So you have a magazine, right? You help people
Right.
jump in. And I love using this actually as an analogy for a lot of people. So your website is really like, when people go to the website, you have your social media. Most people have that. Maybe you have a landing page, you have an offer page. So if you think about a magazine, you have a cover that grabs people's attention, right? So we
Yep.
always really super focus on this cover photo. That's your brand, right? That's what
Yep.
grabs their attention. It's a hook and it's your brand, it's the aesthetic. When you open that up, you're going to start finding out like about the content, right? So if you think about your website, once again, social media, you're seeing all these different types of things. So if you think about posting and stories and blogs and articles and all the things that we can be doing, really, if you think about how this would look in a magazine and what you want to be the most important, what do you want to show up? What do you want people to see? And then when we see those ads, we see those advertisements from other people in that, those are the people you should be collaborating with. So if you were to think of your business as a magazine, I used to use that as an analogy though. So like for you, you and I were really big on collaboration and doing all the things. And at the end of the day, the recession can do its thing that it's been doing. We can have all of these changes, but what you have to remember is you need people you can touch, right?
Hmm.
So like for you,
Yeah.
you're a connector. RVA Connected is your brand, right?
Right.
So for you, you could walk out into Richmond and you could go and touch probably 1,000 people right now that you've met at events, through networking, on the radio show, podcasting, all of the things. So if social media just got knocked out today, you would actually be okay because you took the time to make sure that you invested in that modality as well. People that are investing in social media only and they're not networking and they don't have an email list and they don't have a Rolodex or whatever they're using, right? Some of you guys don't even know what a Rolodex is anymore.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you need that. This is why we push to our clients. We're like, we build out your system with a CRM for that specific reason, because
Right.
that CRM belongs to you, which is your client relationship management tool, right? So
Yeah.
where they came from, what you're doing with them. And I think that's, if I were ever to get on my mountain and preach constantly, that was my big lesson. People have lost Facebook pages and TikTok pages and been banned and been shut down and had whatever it is, gotten hacked. Hacking has been huge on social
Yep.
media.
It has. Yeah.
So that would be, for me, that's one of the big things is like, there's a lot of things, but if you want to do the most important thing, it's having everybody, you got a phone, have them in the phone, have a CRM. Even if you have to do a basic Google sheet and you have a name,
Right.
email, and how you met and what's going on, like stop making excuses and make sure that
Right.
you get that done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I have had that. I was actually just having a conversation with a friend of mine on Monday, and she got her accounts hacked because she clicked on a link and she literally shut down both of her businesses. So she has an essential oil business and she has I'm going to call it a rock business. It's not a rock business. Words, crystals.
Stones.
Thank you. Stones, crystals and stones. Huge, thriving businesses. And she lost everything because that was the one thing that she was using. She lost everything. And so
Oh,
to think
terrible.
of that, like if you going back to the analogy, putting all of your eggs in one basket, if that basket gets destroyed, your business is done. And there may not be any coming back from it. Right.
Yeah.
Or you
But
have
if
to
she had the
start from the beginning.
emails of
Right.
everyone, if she had done a lead magnet, a form, a survey, whatever you need to do to get, do a giveaway, get their emails for the giveaway.
Right.
And
Yeah.
this is what everybody needs to understand on both sides. It's not a gimmick when people ask for your email. It's the fact that they're trying to make sure they can stay in contact with you because you've expressed interest. And then for those of you
Right.
that are consumers, and you're like, oh, I hate getting all these emails. I mean, that's cool, unsubscribe, but just know that
Right.
this is how a business thrives. So we need
Yep.
your emails. We need to be able to get this information to you. And with the rise of AI and mainly ChatGPT is, we kind of keep going back to that, and we use a couple of other softwares in the business, but once again, there's no excuses for you not to be able to do this.
Right. Yeah,
It's pretty easy.
absolutely. So what would be your one piece of advice that you would give a business owner who is just starting out?
I already know the answer to this because I say it all the time. The biggest piece of advice is take all of the ideas that you have and put them on a piece of paper and know that you can do those at some point. But when you go in and you try to do all the things, you're setting yourself up for failure or a much longer bout of frustration and doubt and worry and overwhelm and all the things. So, I love focusing on people that are in health and wellness, that offer services that make other people's lives better is really what I like to focus on.
Yeah.
So, even as a trainer, like if you help women over 30 with weight loss, let's as an example, I understand that there's probably a lot of things that you could do and offer, but you get to touch this person one time when they see a post or an ad or they come to your website or you meet them at an event. You need to be very clear and with what you're offering. So offer one thing, even if you have upsell, cross-sell, downsell options available, cool. But if you want to make money and you want to succeed and you want to make money a lot faster, we talk about low-hanging fruit, right?
Yep.
You've already started the networking process. So I would just say, go all in on one thing to make the number, right? So I don't know
Right.
if you need to make 5 grand, 10 grand a month to be sustainable, and then you can start investing in other things, and then you can start adding other things, and you can make it make sense. But the whole winging it and just it confuses the audience, and there are too many people out there doing what you do that really the focus needs to be on why they should go to you. So with the offer comes all the other things like we just talked about. Do you have numbers? Do you have ways to nurture the client? And that would be my number two. My number one is focus on one thing, and my number two is whatever that thing is, put out high value content and nurture the people that are looking for that thing so that they'll know that you are the right one for them.
Yeah. Which goes back to the whole branding thing, right? You need to touch people multiple times, right? So I think the study was years ago, like, decades ago, when we didn't have all of this information being bombarded at us 24/7,
It's
that
a
you
it's a
needed to touch.
hundred. It's 100
It's
now. I know what
now.
you're about to say.
Oh my God. Okay. So I've been telling people, like, it used to be 10 touches and people would remember who you are. And then the study, when I saw it like a year or two ago, when I first started in this business, it was 52. Now it's
It's 10.
100.
So I think for 10, it would be a personal touch as in a group where you're actually seeing that person consistently. But if you're talking about cold networking, right? If you're talking about social media, you're talking about all those things, if it's 100 times, I need to see and hear and all the things 100 times. Now, once you get them into the DMs and you're having conversations, that slashes that number probably in about half. Because if once they respond to you, you've got them. Then it comes a
Right.
matter of they don't see the value in the sale or you need to redo your offer.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
But yeah, it's a lot, it's a much larger number.
100, a hundred
Mhm.
people. So it's not just, I
100
sent my
touches.
100 touches. Yeah. So it's not just I put a Facebook ad out there and I'm not getting anybody to see it. Like you can't just do it once. It's like throwing spaghetti against the wall.
Well, so an ad is a little more targeted, right? Because you can target a
Right.
specific group and you're targeting people that are interested. And this is the thing that people have to understand. A post is different than an ad. A post is like, even though you should be applying SEO and title words and hashtags that people are following so that they can come in and it grabs their attention and you're telling Facebook and Instagram, hey, these are the people I want to see this information, and there's some strategies that you can do to make sure more people do that. But then when you run an ad, you're first of all, if you pay to play, the platform will love you for that and they will help you.
Right.
This is why I tell people you can run an ad for $2 a day. You can spend $60 a month and believe it or not, it will still help you make more sales.
Right.
Because if you give the platforms a little bit of money, and believe it or not, mine's a wash because I make money based on my views now of my reels, right? So Facebook pays you now. Facebook and Instagram will pay you. Obviously, there's a process to that, but mine's kind of a wash. So I make a couple of $100 a month, but I spend that too. So it's interesting. But yeah, that once again, all these things we're talking about right now, I'm like, do you really want to learn all of this
No.
stuff Or
No.
do you want to find someone that's going to do that? And, you know, people want like, hey, I want to make $5,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, so I've just gotten to the point where I piss some people off because I'm like, you're not even ready to make 5,000. Like you're not even in a space to take on that kind of clientele. You don't have an onboarding process. You don't know the client journey. You know, there's just things that you need to have in place. So do that first.
Right.
Think
Yeah.
about the client journey. Think about the experience you want them to have. I've learned that the hard way. So I'm just telling everybody not to do that.
Yeah. I love that. So tell people how they can reach out to you and work with you.
I mean, honestly, it's still me on my pages. And so I really love having those conversations. So go to Brandy Hollaway, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm on all of the things. The Phoenix Factor, which it's been a little dormant because we've switched over to mainly consulting while we're building these other brands. So it's getting a revamp right now for that. And, you know, like I said, we have all these other brands popping up, but I would say, look, for me personally, DM me. I actually do answer my DMs.
She does. I
Yeah.
was just getting ready to say that she does answer her DMs, or you can reach out to me and I'll connect you with her as well too.
Yeah.
Make that personal personal
Yeah. So
connection.
go to and Ditch Your Overwhelm is really, I feel like, where a lot of people are going to get the information that they want as far as us helping them figure out what they should be saying and doing. And then we can get into more of the actual work and the services.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute. I've benefited immensely from working with you and really help honing in my brand and making sure that my message is very clear. So I do appreciate you for everything that you've done,
Thank you.
and I look forward to because now this year I feel like we've laid the foundation, we've done the work, and now this is really where we're going to see the fruits of our labor. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for keeping me on track, because I am that person. I'm like, oh, what about this, and what about this, and she very lovingly says, yeah, that's a really great idea, but we need to work on this right now. And I know that whatever she says is always because she's looking out for the best interest of me and my business, right? We get passionate, we love things, we are like, oh, what about this? And she's just really good at be like, oh, that's fantastic. Yes, we will put that on the list. And she does. I can see her reaching over and be like, all right, I'm going to put that on the list, but we're not doing that today. We may do it in a month, we may do it in 6 months, or whatever the case may be. So it's been a pleasure, and it's helped immensely. Like I wouldn't have been able to do everything that I've been doing if it hadn't been for you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And reach out to her because she is a genius. And obviously come back, listen to our next guest. I don't have them lined up just yet, so I can't tell you who it is, but I love sharing what people are doing in our community. Like these are all business owners who are going through the same thing that you're going through. You're going to find similarities in their stories, but you're going to learn something, right? You're going to take something away that you're going to be able to implement. And then you'll find somebody who you can connect with and be like, look, I'm going through the same thing. Can we just have a conversation, right? That's what I love to do, is to create this sense of community. So thank you for being here. And
to plug you really quick, if everybody goes onto your email list right now, they're going to be able to start seeing emails where we are actually sharing with them what they can get out of each episode, right? So, and just go to your YouTube channel, which we've started getting a lot of shorts, but you have some great, phenomenal guests, and it's not even just business tips, it's really understanding what it's like so that you can stop feeling alone as an entrepreneur and all the crap that you're probably going through.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So I'm very lucky. I surround myself with amazing people, and that's intentional. So thank you for being here. Come back and listen to us. And as always, my friends, stay fluid. I'm always cheering for you.